When Amir Fidel was 10 years old, he and his family fled a war-torn country with nothing but hope and each other. They didn't come for luxury. They came to survive. No English, no money, no safety net, just a dream that somehow, somewhere, they could build a better life. Years later, that boy, the same one who once stood barefoot at the border, would be featured on the cover of Forbes. This is a true inspired story of how a refugee became a millionaire and how he did it without ever giving up. Amir was born in a small village outside Damascus. His father was a mechanic. His mother sold vegetables in the local market. But when civil unrest turned violent, everything changed overnight. Their home was bombed. His school shut down. And one morning, they walked away from everything they had ever known. They joined a wave of refugees fleeing the violence. Amir was only 10. For 2 years, the family lived in a refugee camp in Jordan. There was no internet, no books, no formal education. But Amir kept learning anyway. He found a broken radio and took it apart piece by piece until he could rebuild it. He taught himself basic English by listening to volunteers. He wrote down every word he didn't know in a notebook made of torn paper scraps. When other kids played soccer, Amir studied wires and batteries. He wasn't trying to be brilliant. He just needed something to hold on to. When Amir was 13, his family got the call. They were accepted into a refugee resettlement program in Canada. It was the first time Amir had ever seen snow. He didn't own a winter coat. He didn't speak a full sentence of English. But on that freezing February morning, as the plane touched down in Toronto, Amir whispered to himself, "This is the beginning." Middle school wasn't kind to him. Kids mocked his accent. Teachers underestimated him. He was placed in the lowest level classes. But Amir didn't complain. He went to the library every day after school. He learned to code using free online tutorials, watched videos on how computers worked, borrowed books about Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and anyone who ever built something from nothing. At night, he helped his father clean off his buildings. During breaks, he practiced HTML on public library computers. While other kids partied, Amir planned. At 16, Amir built a simple website that matched freelancers with local businesses needing tech support. He called it Fix It Now. It flopped, but instead of quitting, Amir studied what went wrong. Then he tried again. This time, he launched a tutoring platform for immigrant students. It gained traction, and suddenly, he wasn't just another refugee kid. He was a teenage entrepreneur. $312.45. It wasn't much, but it was more than he'd ever made legally in his life. That moment, that was the turning point. He turned his side hustle into a business. By 18, he was running a team of part-time freelancers. By 20, his platform had expanded to 5 countries. He dropped out of college, not because he failed, but because he was already funding 3 full scholarships for other refugee students. By 22, Amir founded NextBridge, a tech startup that created tools to help non-native English speakers access job markets and education platforms. He raised $2.5 million in seed funding from angel investors who had once overlooked him. He wore the same $40 jacket to every pitch meeting. And when asked how he learned to speak so confidently, he smiled and said, "By being ignored for so long, I had no choice but to become impossible to ignore." At 25, Amir returned to the camp he once called home, but this time not as a refugee. As a donor, he brought laptops, solar chargers, internet routers, and hired local teachers to train kids in basic tech skills. He didn't just give back. He built a bridge because he knew that hope without opportunity was a recipe for despair, and opportunity without guidance was just a shot in the dark. Today, Amir mentors young refugees and immigrant kids in over 30 countries. His platform, NextBridge, has connected over 120,000 people with remote jobs, educational tools, and legal resources. His TED Talk, "We Are Not Your Pity Story," went viral with over 18 million views. But he never chases fame. He doesn't own a yacht. He still lives in a modest apartment and drives the same used sedan he bought 5 years ago. Why? Because for Amir, wealth isn't about money. It's about mission. What do you say to young people who think the odds are too stacked against them? I say, the odds are supposed to be stacked. That's how you get strong enough to climb over them. His story has become a blueprint, not just for refugees, not just for immigrants, but for anyone who's ever been told, you can't, you're not enough, you don't belong here. Because Amir didn't just belong. He built a table and invited others to sit at it. He didn't have running water. He didn't have a classroom. He didn't have a single safety net. But what he had was heart. And sometimes, heart is enough to build an empire. From refugee camp to millionaire tech founder. Proof that grit beats privilege every time. Like this video if you believe in second chances. Subscribe for more faceless stories that inspire. Comment below. What challenge have you overcome?